Okay. Is it okay? Okay, man.
Yeah, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay, tell me please.
Yes,
Can you
sir.
see? Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Then next we have to understand what is the term permanent account number. Okay, some because going through the topic. Okay, we are familiar with nowadays the term PAN. Okay, some of us have the PAN card. Okay, it is a plastic card and it contains some series of numbers and digits and which is purely for the purpose of paying bills, tax, deposits in amount in excess of 50,000 rupees. Okay, nowadays it is mandatory to pay every payments in excess of 50,000. Okay, yes. Then PAN card, PAN permanent account number is a number which identifies a particular associate to the income tax department. It will not change even though the associate changes his place of residence and consequently the income tax office which has jurisdiction over his place of business. Okay. Then why do we require PAN card is, okay, nowadays government of India, okay, give a clarification about the PAN card because nowadays it is very mandatory. It is mandatory. Okay, if we take any movable properties or immovable properties, okay, its value exceeds 50,000 rupees. Okay, otherwise we doesn't require any PAN card or PAN number. Okay, yes. If an assessee has to pay tax or he has to pay or he has to file a return, okay, then he must have a PAN card. Okay, otherwise it is a very great difficult task while submitting income tax return. Okay, fine. Then you can expect a question: what is a permanent account number? Okay, every year this paper is a very simple in the examination. Okay, most of the examinations you can expect the questions from salary and capital gain. Okay, in the last session I will clear about what are the questions, what are the expecting questions you can expect in your examinations. Okay, in the last class we can discuss about it. Okay. Okay, this is about the first part. Then what is next is what is assessment year? Assessment year means it is a period of 12 months commencing from 1st April of each year and ending on 31st March of next. 31st March of next. And the current assessment year is 2020-21. Current assessment year is 2020-21. Okay, simply assessment year means a person who is calculating his income, under the various sources and determine his tax liability. Simply assessment means a person who computes his income under various heads and determine his tax liability. So assessment year means the year in which the assessment is made. Okay, that means the year in which we calculated our final income from various heads. And determine our tax liability. That means the year in which we calculate the taxable income, the taxable income and determine our tax liability. It is called assessment year. Okay. Then now the current assessment year is 2020-21. That means 1st April 2020 to 31st March 2021. This is the current assessment year. Okay, yes. Then next is previous year. Previous year means previous, just before, previous, just before. Okay, so previous year means it is the year just before assessment year. Simply, previous year means the year just before assessment year. Or in other words, it means that the year in which the income is earned. The year in which the income is earned. അതായത് ഏത് വർഷമാണോ നമ്മൾ പണം സമ്പാദിച്ചത് ആ വർഷത്തെയാണ് നമ്മൾ പ്രീവിയസ് ഇയർ ആയിട്ട് പരിഗണിക്കുന്നത്. ഏത് വർഷത്തെയാണോ നമ്മൾ പണം സമ്പാദിച്ചത്, അത് ഏത് വർഷമാണോ നമ്മൾ പണം സമ്പാദിക്കുന്നത് ആ വർഷത്തെ പ്രീവിയസ് ഇയർ ആയിട്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യുക, പരിഗണിക്കുക. ഇനി ഏത് വർഷമാണോ നമ്മൾ ഇങ്ങനെ സമ്പാദിച്ച തുകകളൊക്കെ ആത്യന്തികമായി കൂട്ടുകയും ടാക്സ് നിർണ്ണയിക്കുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നത് ആ വർഷത്തെയാണ് നമ്മൾ ഏതുകൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്, അസസ്മെന്റ് ഇയർ കൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. ആ വർഷത്തെയാണ് നമ്മൾ ഏതുകൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്, അസസ്മെന്റ് ഇയർ കൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. ഓക്കെ, സോ പ്രീവിയസ് ഇയർ മീൻസ് ദ ഇയർ ഇൻ വിച്ച് ദ ഇൻകം ഈസ് ഏൺഡ്. പ്രീവിയസ് ഇയർ മീൻസ് ദ ഇൻകം previous year means the year in which the income is earned. At the same time, assessment year means the year in which we calculate the taxable income of or the taxable part of income so generated in the previous year and determine the tax liability. Clear? Yes. Just before, okay, we understood current assessment year 2020-21. So we can obviously say that the previous year is just before 2019-2020. 2019-2020. Okay, 2019-2020. Okay, previous year is also commencing from 1st April and end on 31st March. Okay, yes. Financial year 2019-20 is our present previous year and assessment year is 2020-21. Okay, yes. Next, we have to clearly understand some of the little bits or little points about the previous year. Okay, normally previous year will start from April and end on March 31st of next year. Okay, March 31st of next year. Suppose a person who firstly joined in the job on 1st July 2020. Then about him, previous year is July 1st to 31st March. July 1st to 31st March, because he starts to generate income only by July 1st, not by April 1st. Clear? Okay. This is similar to, or it is similar to in case of a newly started business organization. Suppose I started a business organization on 1st November 2020, then my previous year shall be computed as a 1st November to 31st March. 1st November to 31st March. Because up to 1st November, I don't have any income. I started to generate income only by 1st November. Okay, are you following me? Understand?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, this is about the previous year. At the same time, assessment is always starting from 1st April to 31st March. Okay, by the finishing of previous year, we can finally calculate our income earned in the previous year from 1st April up to 31st March. During the assessment year, we finally calculate how much amount we have generated in the previous year. Okay, and we determine our gross total income. From the gross total income, we deduct total income. We deduct some deductions. Then after that, we will get the total income. On the basis of total income, we have to pay tax. Not on the basis of gross total income. we do not require to pay tax on the basis of gross total income. We have to pay tax, or we require to pay tax on the basis of total income, total income, not on the basis of gross total income. Then what is the next question? What is gross total income? What is total income? Okay, I will explain. Okay, fine. So by the finishing of a previous year, then we can calculate or we can compute our total income or taxable income in the previous year, and we can determine our tax liability, and we can furnish the income tax return, and so on. Okay, then we have 1 year. In order to fulfill all these requirements. That means to calculate gross total income, to deduct deductions, to compute the total income, and to determine tax liability, and to furnish the income tax return, and everything. Okay, fine. Okay. So next we have to study what is accelerated assessment. A few minutes ago, I have discussed with you. We earn the income in the previous year, and we pay tax in the assessment year, right? Okay, we earn the income in the previous year, and we pay tax in the assessment year. Okay, sometimes we earn the income in the previous year. Okay, right. At the same time, we have to pay tax also in the previous year. Okay, this practice is called accelerated assessment. Okay, ഞാൻ കുറച്ച് മുമ്പ് നിങ്ങളോട് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു, നമ്മൾ ഏത് വർഷമാണോ പണം സമ്പാദിക്കുന്നത് അത് പ്രീവിയസ് ഇയർ ആയിട്ടാണ് പരിഗണിക്കുക. അപ്പൊ നിലവിലുള്ള വർഷത്തെ നമ്മൾ നോക്കുമ്പോൾ 2019-20 സാമ്പത്തിക വർഷം നമ്മളുടെ പ്രീവിയസ് ഇയറും 2020-2021 സാമ്പത്തിക വർഷമാണ് നമ്മളുടെ ഏത് വരിക, അസസ്മെന്റ് ഇയറും വരിക. കേട്ടോ, ഇനിയിപ്പോ ഏപ്രിൽ തുടങ്ങി, അതുകൊണ്ട് എന്ത് ചെയ്യാം, കൊല്ലം മാറി കേട്ടോ. ഏപ്രിൽ വരെയാണ് ഇങ്ങനെ വരിക. ഏപ്രിൽ കഴിഞ്ഞു. ഇനി നിങ്ങൾ ടെക്സ്റ്റ് ബുക്ക് പ്രകാരം തന്നെ നിങ്ങൾ പഠിച്ചാൽ മതി. ഇപ്പൊ നിലവിലുള്ള അവസ്ഥ വെച്ചിട്ടാണെങ്കിൽ 2020-2021 പ്രീവിയസ് ഇയർ, 2021-2022 എന്ത് അസസ്മെന്റ് ഇയർ. എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ നമ്മൾ ഏപ്രിലേക്ക് പുതിയൊരു സാമ്പത്തിക വർഷത്തിലേക്ക് നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്തു, കയറി. ഓക്കെ, നിങ്ങൾ അത് ഫോളോ ചെയ്യേണ്ട. നിങ്ങളുടെ ടെക്സ്റ്റ് ബുക്കിലുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ തന്നെ എന്ത് ചെയ്താൽ മതി, ഫോളോ ചെയ്താൽ മതി. ഓക്കെ, യെസ്. അപ്പോ നോർമലി നമ്മൾ ഏത് വർഷമാണോ പണം സമ്പാദിക്കുന്നത് അത് പ്രീവിയസ് ഇയർ ആണ്. ഏത് വർഷമാണോ പണം നമ്മൾ പിന്നെ ആ സമ്പാദിച്ച പണം നമ്മൾ ആത്യന്തികമായി കൂട്ടുകയും ടാക്സ് നിർണ്ണയിക്കുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നത്, ആ വർഷത്തെയാണ് നമ്മൾ എന്തായിട്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്, അസസ്മെന്റ് ഇയർ ആയിട്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യുന്നത്, ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. ഓക്കെ, ഇതിന് ചില സന്ദർഭങ്ങളിൽ ഇതിനെന്ത് ചെയ്യും, മാറ്റങ്ങൾ വരും. ഓക്കെ, അതായത് ഒരു വ്യക്തി പണം സമ്പാദിക്കുന്ന പ്രീവിയസ് ഇയറിൽ തന്നെ അദ്ദേഹം എന്തടക്കേണ്ടി വരും, ടാക്സ് അടക്കേണ്ടി വരും. ഓക്കെ, ഇങ്ങനെ നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യുന്നതിനാണ് നമ്മൾ എന്ത് പറയുന്നത്, ആക്സിലറേറ്റഡ് അസസ്മെന്റ് കൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. ഇതിനാണ് നമ്മൾ ഏതുകൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്, ആക്സിലറേറ്റഡ് അസസ്മെന്റ് കൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. ഓക്കെ, so once again, okay, accelerated assessment means it is a practice where a person who generates income in the previous year, and he has to pay tax in the previous year itself, not in the year, or he can carry forward the tax provisions onto or to assessment year. He cannot carry forward the provisions to assessment year. He has to fulfill all the legal formalities in the previous year itself. It is called accelerated assessment. Okay, then we can familiar who are the persons has to make accelerated assessment. Okay, first one is income of a non-resident shipping companies. Okay, we see suppose a ship or a ship it commences its journey, suppose on February or March or April or something like that, and it sails to so many regions. It sails or it covers so many countries, so many ports. Then sometimes it may re-arrive in the first port, sometimes after completing 2 years or 3 years, like that. So the this even this practice or all those this practice is existing in the shipping area. In the income tax department has made guidelines for the non-resident shipping companies, because whenever a shipping company reports in India, such a time the shipping company has to pay tax at the moment. Okay, it cannot carry forward or it cannot carry forward its tax proceedings to assessment year, because sometimes it may re-arrive in the port after completing 2 years or 3 years like that. Clear? Okay. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So next question is how much amount they has to pay tax. Okay, clearly understand 7.5% of the local freight. 7.5% of a local freight. Okay, in a year they can estimate their demurrage or annual freight charges. On the basis of its estimated freight charges, they can pay 7.5% of local freight. Suppose if a shipping company which expected to estimate, which expected to generate, suppose 1 crore rupees as freight charges. In such a case, if they locate it to the Indian port, they can give tax at 7.5% of 1 crore. I think around 7.5 lakh. Okay, by way of income tax or an account of income tax. Okay, then next one is next case for accelerated assessment is income of persons leaving India. Suppose a person who tries to alienate a tax burden, that means who tries to evade tax, by way of left from India. In such a case, we should not wait for assessment year. We can levy the income tax in the previous year on such persons, in the previous year itself on such persons. Okay, this is the case. This is the second case of accelerated assessment. That means a person who tries to leave India in order to evade tax or in order to alienate tax. Okay, in such a case, we cannot wait for we do not wait for assessment year. We can levy the income tax or we can levy the proceedings in the previous year itself. Okay, then third one is income of an AOP or BOI or artificial judicial person formed for a particular event or a purpose. Okay, I will clear. Suppose we formed a particular partnership. We formed, that means or an AOP or BOI or any other, they are artificial judicial person. They formed a particular partnership. For example, a group of people, they jointly formed a AOP in order to take a contract of a bus stand or a bridge or a dam. Okay, something like that. Okay, by the finishing of such a work, the partnership will automatically terminate. This is the example of a particular partnership. That means 2 or 3 people, they collectively joined or they collectively formed a partnership in order to take a construction work of some municipal bus stand or a dam or bridges or road, etc. By the fulfilling of by the completion of this construction work, their partnership will automatically terminate. Okay, this is example of 3. That means if the work completed by February or January or December, okay, after the December or after the completion of work, we cannot find out such people. Okay, so in case of a particular partnership, okay, we can levy the tax in the previous year itself or at the time of finishing of their work. Okay, we cannot transfer or we cannot shift or we cannot carry forward all the proceedings to assessment year. Okay, yes. Any next one is income of persons trying to alienate their assets. That means a person, a very rich person who tries to shift his property or transfer his property to another person's in order to reduce his tax liability, and the assessing officer clearly understand this practice. In such a case, we do not wait for assessment year. We can make all provisions in the previous year. Okay. Then last one is income of discontinued business. It means that where any business or profession is discontinued in any year, the income of the period from the date of expiry of the immediately preceding previous year to the date of discontinuance of such business shall be determined in the previous year itself. It means that, for example, suppose A and B jointly started a business. A and B jointly started a business on 1st May 2019. By the passage of time, they determined to close up their business. They determined to wound up their business by September 30. By September 30. They started their business on 1st May and they determined to wound up their business by September 30. So we do not wait for the tax proceedings on assessment year. We can make all provisions or we can collect or levy tax by September 30. That means by the September 30, by the 30th September 2019, they will finish their business organization. After that, we cannot detect them. So we may lose our tax revenue. So we can make proceedings or we can levy the tax proceedings on 30th September. That means on the closing day of their business. Okay, clear? Okay, can you follow me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Okay, you can ask in English or you can ask in Malayalam. Okay, no problem. Okay, I will explain. Yes. Next, what is the concept of total income? Okay. Every assessee has to pay tax liability on his total income. On his total income. Not on his gross total income. On his total income, not on his gross total income. Total income is also called taxable income. Total income is also called taxable income. So next question is how we can compute or how we can determine our total income or taxable income. Okay, simply I will explain. Okay, when we look into our hand, we can see 5 fingers. Okay. You can see 5 fingers. Most of us have 5 fingers. Sometimes we may somebody has 4 fingers, somebody has 6 fingers. Okay, yes. Likewise, we can see or we know about our primary organs. This also 5. Okay, likewise, the Income Tax Act, they classify the income head as 5. The income head as 5. First one is income from salary, then income from house property, then income from business or profession, then income from capital gain, and finally income from other source. Income from other source is also called a residual head of income. Residual head of income. Okay. If a person who draws a salary or he gets a monthly pension from his employer, they will be charged under the head income from salary. They will be charged under the head income from salary. Okay. ശമ്പളവും അതുപോലെ തന്നെ എന്താണ് റിട്ടയർ ചെയ്ത ശേഷം വാങ്ങുന്ന പെൻഷൻ ഇങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ കിട്ടുന്ന വ്യക്തികളാണെങ്കിൽ അവരുടെ ഇൻകം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഏത് ഹെഡിലാണ് വരിക? സാലറി ഹെഡിലാണ് വരിക. Okay. Suppose a person who draws salary or as a part of his employment or he gets pension, monthly pension from his employer after his retirement, they will be charged under the head income from salary. And a person who let out his property, for example, his shopping mall or his shopping complex or his house or his residential house to somebody for rent, his income shall be charged under the head income from house property. His rent shall be charged, or his income shall be charged under the head income from house property. And a person who carry with a sole tradership or a partnership or a company, okay, something like that, then his income or their income shall be charged under the head income from business. Income from business. Okay. Moreover, a person who carry out any professional activity, that means he is a doctor, or he is a lawyer, or he is an architect, or he is a celebrity, okay, something like that. Okay, then his income shall be charged under the head income from business or profession. Income from business or profession. And a person who receives some sort of income by way of transfer of his property, by way of transfer of his property, means by way of sale of his property, or by way of exchange of his property, or by way of relinquishment of his property, or extinguishment of his rights in the property, or the compulsory acquisition by the government. Okay, something like that. Okay. Okay, so this type of income or this type of profit shall be charged or should be charged under the head income from capital gain. Income from capital gain. And finally, a person who lives income by way of bank interest. By way of bank, a person who lives his life through receiving of income by way of bank interest, or by way of lottery income, or by way of card game income, or by way of horse race winnings, okay, or by way of income from dividend, or income from mutual fund, or income from LIC, or income by the way of disaster. Income by the way of disaster. Okay, that means compensation. That is the term. Okay. Or any other way of casual income, or he received, he finds a lost article and he transfers such article for some receipts. Okay, something like that. Okay, all these type of income shall be charged under the head income from other source. That means, or on the other hand, income from other source means any income which does not belong to income from salary, income from house property, income from business or profession, or income from capital gain shall be chargeable under the head income from other source. Clear? Okay. So gross total income means, sum of income from salary plus, gross total income means income from salary plus income from house property plus income from capital gain plus income from income from salary plus income from house property plus income from business or profession plus income from capital gain plus income from other source. Income from other source. Okay. The sum total of all these heads shall constitute gross total income. Shall constitute gross total income. Okay, clear? Okay, ആണോ? മനസ്സിലായിനാ? Okay.
Okay ആണ് sir.
ഗ്രോസ് ടോട്ടൽ ഇൻകം കൊണ്ട് ഇത്തിരി ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നുള്ളൂ. നമുക്കുള്ള ശമ്പള വരുമാനം, നമുക്കുള്ള വാടക വരുമാനം, നമ്മളുടെ ബിസിനസ് ഇൻകം അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പ്രൊഫഷണൽ ഇൻകം, അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ക്യാപിറ്റൽ ഗെയിൻ ഇൻകം ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത്. ക്യാപിറ്റൽ ഗെയിൻ കൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത് ക്യാപിറ്റൽ അസറ്റ് ട്രാൻസ്ഫർ ചെയ്യുന്നതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായി ഉണ്ടാകുന്ന ലാഭങ്ങളാണ്. നമ്മൾ വീടും സ്ഥലവും വിറ്റിട്ട് ലാഭം ഉണ്ടായിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ, സ്വർണം വിറ്റിട്ട് ലാഭം ഉണ്ടായിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ, ഷെയർ വിറ്റിട്ട് ലാഭം ഉണ്ടായിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ, അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ഇപ്പം ദേശീയപാത വികസനമൊക്കെ ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടിട്ട് ഗവൺമെന്റ് എന്ത് ചെയ്യും? നമ്മൾ വീടും സ്ഥലമൊക്കെ ഏറ്റെടുക്കുമല്ലോ. ഓക്കെ, എന്നിട്ടൊക്കെ നമുക്ക് എന്ത് ചെയ്യും? പൈസ കിട്ടുമല്ലോ. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പൊ ഇങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ നമുക്ക് കിട്ടുന്ന വരുമാനങ്ങളെയാണ് നമ്മൾ ഏത് കൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്? ക്യാപിറ്റൽ ഗെയിൻ കൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ പലിശ വരുമാനം, അതേപോലെ തന്നെ പിന്നെ ലോട്ടറി അടിക്കുന്ന തുക, ഷീട്ട് കളിച്ചിട്ട് കിട്ടുന്ന തുക, വീണ് കിട്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള സാധനം, സമ്മാനം കിട്ടുന്നത്, ഗിഫ്റ്റ് റിസീവ്ഡ് ഷാൽ ബി ചാർജബിൾ അണ്ടർ ദ ഹെഡ് ഇൻകം ഫ്രം അതർ സോഴ്സ്. ഓക്കെ, അതേപോലെ തന്നെ പിന്നെ ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള എല്ലാ വരുമാനങ്ങളും കൂടി നമുക്ക് കൂട്ടിക്കെട്ടുന്ന തുക, ഇതിനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ ഇതുകൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്, ഗ്രോസ് ടോട്ടൽ ഇൻകം കൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ. സോ nobody has to pay tax on his gross total income. Then next question is then ഏതിന്റെ മുകളിലായിരിക്കണം അപ്പോൾ അയാൾ ടാക്സ് അടയ്ക്കേണ്ടതെന്നുള്ളതാണ് അടുത്തൊരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ വരുന്നത്. Okay, so everybody has to pay tax liability on account of, or has to pay tax on account of his taxable income or total income. So next question is, what is total income? Total income means gross total income minus all deductions under section chapter 6A or under section 80. നിങ്ങൾ നോക്കിക്കോളൂ. Okay, total income means gross total income minus total income means gross total income minus all deductions under section 80 or under chapter 6A, under section 80 or under chapter 6A. That means section 80C to 80U, section 80C to 80U. So next question is, what are the deductions available to an individual or available to an assessee? Okay, suppose, okay, we can see some persons, they are monthly or quarterly or by year, okay, by annually, okay, they may pay LIC premium. Okay, they will have housing loan, so they have to pay housing loan principal amount. Okay, then their kids are studying in a reputed schools, so they have to pay school fees. Okay, then somebody may take mediclaim insurance on account of or in respect of this insurance, they have to pay premium. Okay, then somebody is suffered with some severe disease like leukemia or meningitis or then some sort of kidney diseases or AIDS or all sorts of cancers. Okay, so they have to undergo for various treatments. Okay, nowadays we know that very huge expenditure we have to pay for our medical treatment. Okay, you know about rather than we. Okay, then sometimes we have an elder sister or a younger sister or a younger brother or elder brother or our parents, they are suffered with disability. Okay, so we have to treat or maintain them. So for the purpose of this, their treatment and maintenance, we have to incur a lot of expenditure. Okay, then sometimes we can freely pay some donations. Okay, then we can pay donations to Prime Minister's National Defense Fund or Prime Minister's Relief Fund, then State Chief Minister's Distress Fund, or we can pay donations to some temples. Okay, for example, recently the Ayodhya Ram Mandir. Okay, then we can pay donations to then some masjids or some pilgrimage centers. Okay, something, a lot of donations. Okay, then next we may take then education loan. Okay, for the purpose of our graduation or for the purpose of our study. Okay, so we have to pay interest amount on this education loan. Okay, these are the some items which shall come under the term deductions. Okay, which shall come under the term deductions. Okay, so all these deductions we can deduct from our gross total income. So we will after deducting these deductions from gross total income, we will come to, or we can come to, or we will reach by total income. Okay, tax is to be calculated on this total income, not on our gross total income. Okay, clear? Yes. Then accounting method, no need of it. Okay, yes. This is about the basic concepts 1. Then we can move to basic concepts 2. Okay, in the basic concept 2, we have to familiar with some basic items. First one is agricultural income. Okay, in the last examination, okay, around 12 marks questions are asked from this topic. That means in the last year, I think question number 7. The question number 7, the question asked as what is agricultural income, and differentiate agricultural income with non-agricultural income. Okay, 12 marks question. Okay, fine. Then what is meant by agricultural income? Okay. First of all, we have to clearly understand that agricultural income is purely exempt from tax. That means Government of India not collecting any tax from agricultural income. Not collecting, they do not collect any tax from farmers on account of their income so generated. Okay, so agricultural income is not taxed under the Income Tax Act. Okay, because agriculture being a state subject, so state government is only the body to determine whether it is taxed or whether it is untaxed or not, like that. Central government cannot interfere on the term agricultural income, because if they are doing so, it will violate the federal system, our federal system. Okay, fine. At the same time, you have to mention, or you have to understand that if a person who has agricultural income along with non-agricultural income, okay, who has agricultural income along with or as well as non-agricultural income, and the agricultural income exceeds 5,000 rupees, in such a case, such agricultural income has to consider while determining tax liability. Okay, while determining tax liability. If a person, suppose Mr. X, who is having agricultural income, of 10,000 rupees, and he has non-agricultural income, I think around 12 lakh. Okay, in such a case, while determining tax liability, his agricultural income should be considered while determining tax liability. Okay, and if a person, he has only agricultural income, he has nothing in the area of non-agricultural income, and his agricultural income suppose stands at suppose 1 crore rupees or 2 crore rupees or 10 crore rupees. In such a case, he does not pay any amount of tax. Clear? Okay. So what is meant by agricultural income? Okay, it is very important. You have to clearly understand, or you have to study thoroughly the term agricultural income. According to Section 2, Subsection 1 of Income Tax Act 1961, agricultural income means any rent or revenue derived from land, which is situated in India and is used for agricultural purpose. Any rent or revenue derived from land which is situated in India and it is used for agricultural purpose. Okay, then, so when we generate or when we extract some points based on this definition, we can see rent or revenue derived from land, and the land must be situated in India and it must be used for agricultural purpose. It must be used for agricultural purpose. Okay, yes. And what are the explanations given for agricultural purpose, or what are the terms shall come under agricultural purpose? Okay, agricultural purpose means cultivation of the field. Okay, cultivation of the field. Then the land is used for agriculture.